Hello, this is Danica with Purdue Extension, the Nutrition Education Program. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about MyPlate and how it can help us to eat smart with all 5 of our food groups. And we're going to learn how to make an Asian cabbage stir fry. And we're going to use cabbage, we're going to use onions, and we're going to use fresh ginger. And this is an ingredient you may not have at home. That's okay. You can use ginger powder or any other spices that you have in your kitchen. You can also use any different vegetable that you want to use, including frozen vegetables, whatever you have on hand. That's why I love recipes like this. You can also, we're going to use pork from our local food pantry, but you can also use any kind of meat or even leave the meat out altogether. It's a great recipe to use up leftover meat. So let's get started. I'm going to start by washing my hand. To make sure I wash the cabbage first. Pull the outer leaves off. So the cabbage and the onions are all on the vegetable portion of my plate. We know it's very important to make sure half of our plate is fruits and vegetables, so you need to get about 2.5 cups every day. A stir fry is a great way to get more vegetables in. Now when you're cutting your cabbage, you want to get a flat surface like this so that it doesn't roll around, and make sure you have a sharp knife. And hold it like this. And we're just gonna shred that cabbage with our knife. Same with this onion. Gonna wash it and then peel and slice the onion into thin strips. Now, once you have that done, you can start preparing your ginger, and the ginger will need to be washed and peeled, and then I usually use a grater, but you could also mince it with a knife. I like it tiny pieces of ginger, and then whatever's left you can actually freeze and then use for later so that you don't have to throw it away. And I think this little piece of ginger cost about 30 cents. So it's a very inexpensive spice that really adds a lot of flavor to your stir fry. So once I've had my cabbage and my onion sliced, and I've started to peel this ginger, as you can see what it looks like after you peel it off, then I'm going to put that in my skillet with a little bit of oil. You can use olive oil or whatever oil that you have at the house. I'm going to cook that in my skillet until it's nice and tender, about maybe 10 minutes. I'm going to start with my onions and then add the cabbage and then add the pork. And for the pork, I'm just going to drain it, but if you have whatever meat you have, you just want to chop it up till it's diced. And you can also then add your spices to it. So if you didn't have fresh ginger, you could add powdered ginger. We can add garlic powder, and you can even add cumin. So you can mix and match with the spices that you have in your cupboard. Also, I like to add a little low sodium soy sauce, just a splash, because you want to watch that because of the sodium content. I'm just grating my ginger right in the pan. And I only use just a little bit, so I'll have some left over for my freezer. Then I'm getting ready to add my pork that I've just kind of drained and chopped up, and I'm going to add that to the stir fry. And I'm not using all of that, so I could use what's left of the pork. I could add to some barbecue and make a barbecue sandwich, or I could even make tacos or all sorts of things out of that pork. So I will make sure to put those leftovers in the refrigerator or in the freezer if I need it for more than just a couple of days. Okay, can I add my pork? And give that a good stir. And this pork is already pre-cooked, but if I was using raw meat to make this, I would start out with my raw meat and cook it thoroughly and then put it to the side. But this is already using pre-cooked meat, so I just want to make sure I heat it very thoroughly. And then next I'm going to sprinkle it with a little garlic and a little cumin and just a splash of my soy sauce, my reduced sodium soy sauce. The outcome is a delicious, healthy stir fry. So in our Asian cabbage stir fry, we used vegetables with our cabbage and onions. We used protein with the pork, and I could serve it over brown rice, and that would give me a whole grain. So the more food groups that you can get in a meal, the more nutritious and good for you that it is. I could add a piece of fruit for dessert and a glass of milk, and I would have a complete MyPlate meal. Thank you for joining. If you would like to learn more or sign up for your own free lesson, please visit eatgathergo.org.